Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a podcast on psychic messages, psychic readings, how they work, and kind of give you a little bit more of insight into our world for those of you that would be listening and are possibly contemplating getting a psychic message, or you have received numerous psychic readings before and you're discouraged and you're at a point of not wanting to get another psychic reading. So I'm going to cover different topics and explain a little bit what I do and what my colleagues, what they do, and really try to give you a little bit more of a glimpse into my world. And I hope that you really enjoy this podcast. So go ahead and kick your feet up, drink your soda pop, get your popcorn ready, and let's get into this. So I want to start off by saying that for those of you that are skeptic and listening to this, or you come from a Christian background and you may have like a pique in interest, please keep an open mind. My job that I'm doing here as far as the podcast is not to convince you. This is not what this podcast is for, or to make you believe into a believer, or to even make you defend my gift or defend anybody's gift. I'm not here for that. I am a messenger. When I do psychic readings and or mediumship readings, and I give the information to a person, I'm giving what I receive and channel from spirit. Now, a lot of people are asking, who is spirit? Who do you work with? How do you know that these are your spirit guides? Ever since I was little, I've always had a connection to angels and spirit guides, and so I always trust them, and I know that the vibration is full of love, and it's not evil, it's not fear-based, it's not scary. It's a warm, compassionate, and loving energy. When I went through my near-death experiences, I actually met my spirit guides. There are two of them, an older lady, which would be in my family, and also a younger gentleman. And these two spirit guides came forth one day in front of me, actually just like the apparition from the torso up. And I knew they were my spirit guides. They didn't say anything. They came towards me and they disappeared. And then I heard, through telepathically, that they were my spirit guides, and I believe it and trust it, because a lot of the messages that I get are from my spirit guides, and also my connection to angels, and just my psychic senses as a clairvoyant, the ability to see almost like events and snapshots, things playing out really like on a big screen, on how, or like you're watching TV, for example, and you see a certain scene playing out. That's kind of how the gift works with clairvoyance. And with the clairaudience, I get to hear a lot telepathically through the mind. These would be spirit guides, spirits that have crossed over to the other side, and they're still communicating to me. Angels. I think a lot of people have some fear, when you come from a religious background, you have fear, and you're taught that divination at any point is evil, and that's not the case. That is just social conditioning. And as I had discussed in the podcast with my friend Pamela, one of the first podcasts that I did explain, to a lot of the people that were listening at that time, that Jesus himself would have been considered a medium today, because he had the awesome ability to communicate with his Father in spirit, to heal the sick. He was a healer as well, to see things that other people couldn't see. And he was just like today, like psychics are, and healers, and anybody that does spiritual work. We are criticized. We are not taken seriously. We are constantly bashed, just like Jesus was. He had followers. He had people that did believe in him, essentially, but there was a lot of people that didn't. So there's a lot of validity to, what if you follow the scripture and modern people. For us to think that we just came here to live and die and that's it, that is a 3D mentality. A lot of us have been given an awesome gift by God. I do consider my gift coming from God. I do believe in God. Even though I'm not religious, I am spiritual. I do believe in the divine power, and I do believe in the one source, universal source. I don't always refer to him as God, but as a consciousness, or as a one loving power. And so that's how I connect to it. I don't believe everything in the scripture, and I'm not going to get into the religion, because my my mission here using this platform and doing this is not to bash any religion or to talk bad about them. I have utmost respect for anyone's beliefs, and I ask that you please have that same kind of open-mindedness and respect when listening to this podcast. So when we get into what a psychic is, a lot of people automatically think it's a fortune teller, someone who tells the future, someone who wears a turban, it's a gypsy, and they have a big crystal ball. And that is almost like a stigma. It is a stereotype of just like any other person out there. People that when we tell them, because I'm from Texas, well, they think that we wear cowboy hats and we wear boots and we have a country accent, and that's not necessarily the case. I'm from Texas, and probably listening to me, you wouldn't be able to tell that I have an accent, a Texas accent. I really don't think I do, and I've been told before that I don't. So it's just that is something that we experience as psychics out here, and as healers and light workers. We experience a lot of discrimination, and it's very disconcerting, and it can affect you in many ways for those of you that are starting off on your spiritual journey. But you need to be strong and don't worry about what other people think. There's always going to be someone in your family and your friends and your social circle that's not going to accept you. And for those of you that are listening and are interested in psychic readings, or you get them often yourself, I get psychic readings myself, and a lot of people automatically judge me, and they're like, well, why do you get it if you're psychic yourself? You have to understand the gift that we have is very unique. My ability is to help others, just as other psychics help other people. And personal gain would be me knowing privileged information about my life path. And how likely would I be on this life path if I knew the lottery numbers, or if I knew exactly what was going to be happening, in my love life or in my personal life or my work life? How do you think that I would actually be aligned in this spiritual path? That would be the question that you need to ask yourself. And most of us would answer no. We wouldn't be doing spiritual work because we have attained certain personal gain from that ability. And so there are restrictions to what we can get. You can be the strongest psychic out there in medium, and you can still get snippets for yourself in validation. I'm not saying that I don't get it for myself and I don't have that ability to receive messages from my own perspective, but it is limited. It really is. And for those of us, we're all human, we always seek some kind of validation or insight. So yes, I do get psychic readings for myself once in a while, and I feel like I do deserve it, and it's nothing wrong, and it doesn't mean that I'm less psychic than anyone else or that I'm not worthy of it. And I think that's a big conception. I used to be on Facebook groups and actually be on there, and a lot of people that were on there, other people, other members, they would attack me because you could post a picture of yourself, and they would make a comment like, if you are psychic, why are you asking for a psychic reading yourself? And that's the kind of mentality. It was very hateful, very low vibration, just and you explain it to them, and they would still go at it. And so it's just like, why even bother explaining yourself to people? Just do you and be happy. But yes, ultimately, a lot of psychics that would be listening to this, or light workers that do healing, you can attest to that fact that you can that you do get probably psychic readings for yourself as well from other people. A lot of us use tarot, or we use a lot of oracle cards to do readings for ourselves. I use oracle cards and tarot to read for myself. I don't use it for my private readings, but I don't think there's anything wrong with any tarot reader that does just tarot readings to use cards, because the thing that you have to understand is that when you're using the tarot or you're using oracle cards, basically you are using your combination of your psychic intuition, and spirit is channeling through those cards the messages that need to be delivered to people. And so it's very powerful, and it can actually be a really powerful tool to kind of streamline what you're receiving and make those messages that are coming through very simple and more streamlined, and help you understand what you're receiving from spirit. There would be good for like someone who is really has spiritual abilities and is starting off. You could start off using that and slowly kind of ease yourself off of using the tarot if you want to. But there's nothing wrong using oracle cards. It's a form of divination, but at the same time, it helps you with your gifts. So I'm giving you a little bit of background into the psychic realm and what we do as psychics, and kind of like give, for those of you that would be listening, to get you a better understanding of what is, why people use tarot, or they use oracle cards, or they use a pendulum. There's people that use a pendulum and it sways back and forth with a yes or no answer. You ask spirit, and spirit channels through that pendulum and gives you an answer, yes or no, depending on how, if it's front and back or side to side. So there's a lot of different forms of divination that people use. Now, I had a lady, and I'm going to get back into the topic of psychic readings, but I had a lady on my Instagram. Recently, I posted a picture of my work area, and I have a lot of crystals that I work with, because I believe that crystals do have energy that you can program, that can help you heal, and they can help you open your chakras. They can help open your intuition and your psychic ability, and amplify any existing gifts, and also clear out any negative energy and vibrations that are around your aura or around your surrounding spaces. But I had this lady, and she commented, and she said, well, if you're psychic, do you really need, what's the purpose of you having all of these trinkets? Do you really need them to have your gift? Don't you have the gift already? Why would you need to use them? And it came off very outlandish, very almost accusatory, and just very low vibration energy. And I explained to her that these crystals are used for protection. They're used to clear out negative energy, and etc. So there's a lot of different aspects to why psychics and healers and spiritual people and light workers use certain tools to their convenience. Some people use herbs for protection. Some people that do psychic readings, we use sage to kind of clear out the energy. So psychic messages, why I get a lot of people, and I've heard it, I've seen it in groups before, and people, you give a message from spirit to the person, and they get a reading, but for some reason or another, you give them a timeline. Timelines are very difficult. What do I mean by a timeline? What is a timeline? Basically, this is a client that would be asking, when is a certain event going to happen, or when do we see a certain situation happening? Now, the thing with the timelines is that they're very tricky. It's very difficult. Only God really knows the exact timeline. Like I said, we're psychics. We do not know everything. I will not sit here ever and try to defend my gift and try to tell people that I know every single thing that's going to happen, because that would be a lie. I am very truthful and honest that I don't know everything. My accuracy is up there, but I don't brag about it. I'm very humble, and that is who I am. When I give a timeline, it's what I currently see aligned with an individual's life, and how whatever's occurring in their life at that time, and syncs up with it. It cannot be written, the future cannot be written in stone, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. And a lot of people want to hold on to a timeline, and they figure if you have a timeline, it's going to happen in that, and if they don't, the psychic is wrong. And that's a big miscommunication and a big misconception from people who are seeking private readings or psychic readings. If you're receiving a psychic reading from someone, you need to go into it open-minded and know that your destiny is not tied to a psychic reading. Yes, it can help you facilitate and navigate your life throughout that, throughout your year, or throughout the certain months that that psychic is looking into. But a psychic reading is not something that you should use to make your life decisions necessarily, or to really live and hold that person accountable, or hold on to that message so tightly that you don't seem to live your life, and you're just waiting for that to happen. When I give psychic readings and private readings to people, I always give them tools. So, like, for example, I'm just going to throw this out there. Someone has been having a rough time for many years with relationships, and that's what I get a lot with psychic readings. People want to know about their relationships and their love life. They've been unhappy. Everybody is seeking love. That's what you have to understand right now. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody is seeking love at some level. You would be lying to yourself if you said that you don't want to be loved by someone. We all want to be loved. Let's just be honest here. The thing is that when we are trying to find the client asks me, when do you see a soulmate coming into my life? That's a very broad and general question. We can give you a year, but some people are not satisfied with a year. They want a specific month or down to a specific day, and that's kind of unreasonable. And the reason that I say that, and people that would be listening would be saying, well, you're trying to defend yourself, and I'm not. I'm psychic, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not God. I don't have all the answers. Most of the time when we do give a snapshot or a timeline to a person, I will give them, what I see, and also tools that they can do and things that they need to do in their life. I have a lot of people that come to me for psychic readings, and they've been so disillusioned and disenchanted with love that they sort of tune out. They've programmed themselves to the fact that they're not worthy of love. It's never going to happen, and there's nothing that can change that mentality. You have to reprogram your mentality and reprogram your soul to being open and to receiving love. If you're still holding on to a negative vibration and you're not making any changes, like going out, there's people that we recommend for them to go on dating sites, or go out and socially mingle with people, align themselves, kind of make eye contact. And some people will be like, no, I've done that. I'm not going to do it again. It was a nightmare. There was nothing but jerks, and I'm not doing that again. Well, you're not being open to what, possibilities could be out there for you. You're shutting yourself out. So how can the universe help you in what we see energetically that aligns with your energy at that time, if your free will is taking precedence and you are making that assumption that nothing is going to change and everything is going to be the same? It's like almost like you saying that you go to Starbucks and you want to get that pumpkin frappuccino, and just because you had one bad experience, that all the pumpkin frappuccinos are going to be bad tasting, or they're going to be flat, no foam or no whipped cream, or the whipped cream is going to go flat on your frappuccino. And it's, that's a good example. So I hope that those of you that are listening can kind of find the humor in that, and see that this is the kind of things that a lot of people do, it's almost like self-sabotaging yourself. So we can be the best psychic out there, and we can give you the messages that you need to hear, not what you want to hear, because I don't give any messages that are sugar-coated, whether it's a good message or it's something that is a little difficult to kind of digest immediately, but they're all for the greater good. And all these messages that are being given to people, they're being given for a purpose from spirit. I'm just the messenger. These are not my personal biased opinions or my biased advice. I'm not an advice columnist. I'm not ask someone and basically I would give that information to them. I'm not a journalist. That's not my job. My job is to be a spiritual advisor, a healer, and to give people healing messages and closure. And that's what I try to bring forth. I always pray to my spirit guides, and I pray before a session. I always clear my energy and my aura with sage. I have an uncrossing spray that I use that's infused with essential oils and herbs to kind of clear my aura, clear my energy. Because the last thing is, if I'm feeling sick or I'm not feeling good, I will not do readings for anyone. I will reschedule, or I will just put it off and reschedule, with the client at a later date. If I'm not feeling well and I'm not feeling well energetically, or I'm feeling sick, I came down with a cold, I'm not going to do that, because I will not be at my best to give a message. But when psychics are giving messages, you need to keep an open mind. And if the psychic is making suggestions for you to work with herbs, work with candles, work with some crystals, don't dismiss it. A lot of people will say, yes, I'll do this. And the next thing that they do, they'll be like, telling their best friend, I just had this reading with the psychic, and I don't think that this was, the right advice. It doesn't resonate with me. That's fine. But then don't complain when things don't happen in your life, because you didn't meet the universe halfway. You're not making any attempts to change anything in yourself. Anyone that is stuck in a same pattern over and over, you're never going to experience anything different or any change. And yes, you may have had some bad experiences out there in the dating world through maybe dating sites. Why not change the dating site? You're not going to sit here and tell me that every single dating site is the same, because that's not the case. There's certain sites that you get more people that are more like eHarmony. You have to pay a certain fee, and so every month, and so those kind of filter out a lot of these people that just want one night stands or want something that's promiscuous or frivolous. But this is what I'm getting at. A lot of these messages, and some people are just not ready to receive a message, especially if they've been hurt. They may think that they're ready and they want to, the answers that they want to hear, but Spirit will never give you the answers that you want to hear unless it's part of your destiny and it's aligned that way. Spirit is always going to use us as vessels to deliver the messages that are for your greater good and that you need to hear. We never, not what you want to hear. And I think a lot of people get disillusioned when they receive a psychic reading and it's not exactly the outcome that they were expecting. If your partner is cheating on you and you want concrete evidence, a lot of people that we do psychic readings for will go immediately to their partner and ask them, are you cheating on me? I have this feeling that you're cheating on me, or I went to a psychic and you're cheating on me. And you kind of have to ask yourself, if you're asking someone who's cheating, just let me position it this way. Someone who's cheating on you and you go and ask your partner that's cheating on you if they're cheating, do you think that they're going to answer you yes with the truth? No, they're not. And that's a sad reality. We have a lot of dishonest souls here on earth that are living in a lower vibration and they can't get out of that, and they're not going to confess it. Some people that receive, some women that receive it, or men that receive psychic readings based around love life questions and cheating, their partner cheating, they want to know who's the lady that they're with or who's the man that they're with, the description. That information sometimes does. I do have testimonials of customers who have come back and have said, I described the person down to a T, and they found out months or years later, and they didn't believe that I was right, but I was right. And you can read all my testimonials on my website. But this is what I'm getting at, is that there's a lot of people that kind of try to write off a psychic or a psychic medium because they want a specific answer or they want a specific detail, and Spirit is not going to always give that. We are not in control. We cannot control Spirit. That's what a lot of people don't understand. We have no control over the spirit world or our spirit guides. They're only going to be giving us the information that we are privileged to and that we are needing to know at that specific time. But for the most part, they will never give you any give you anything that you want to hear all the time. That's not how Spirit operates. So that is one of the topics here. So I will be doing more and more, another segment of this podcast on psychic messages and how we work and how we deliver those messages. But I wanted to kind of do this podcast and kind of get this messages across and kind of give you a better understanding, a snippet into our world and what we experience as psychics and mediums and spiritual healers. It's not just me that is experiencing this. This happens daily with colleagues out there that are in the psychic profession, or people who are healers, that clients go to them for healing and they're still in pain. But, this is what we experience on a daily basis. And sometimes the person is not open, like I said, to receive the messages, or they have received too many psychic readings from other people and the messages are confused. So this is what I always suggest to my clients: make sure that you do research on the psychic that you're getting. Look at the testimonials. Look at how many years they've been doing the work. Look at what, if they have a legitimate website, if they have written any books, look at a lot of the details, word of mouth also, but you can't always trust word of mouth, because there are going to be people out there who maybe were not satisfied with their reading, because they have a grudge against the psychic, or because they felt that that message just wasn't what they wanted to hear, but it was what they needed to hear, but they just are not happy with the psychic. So you kind of have to use your best judgment. Don't be swayed by anyone in particular that may have a bad vibe or energy against a psychic. So there's a lot of psychic jealousy out there, and other colleagues out there that are claim to be spiritual, and they do try to write false reviews on people or create drama. It's a nightmare when you're sometimes in the spiritual community. There's not a lot of people that are working towards the greater good and the higher good for people. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this podcast and this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like to set up a private reading, you can go to my website. That's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. And you can also pre-order my book, Starseed Footsteps, on that website, and it'll be an autographed copy shipped out after September the 18th within 2 to 3 weeks, or you can order directly from Amazon or barnesandnoble.com. And those copies won't be signed or autographed. But thank you so much for tuning in. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day.